Hi guys, and welcome to today's tutorial. Today we will be making watercolor art using TomBow brush markers. Stay tuned. Okay, a few supplies you're going to need for this project. Watercolor paper, I recommend 140-pound cold press. It's going to withstand water the best. A pencil. This is just a Ziplock bag. You can use any piece of plastic so it will repel the water. A knead eraser. A micron pigment marker. This is 05. And I'm going to be using a combination of colors, specifically from TomBow. These are TomBow brush markers, dual brush markers, and I'm going to be mixing the colors here on my plastic sheet. You're also going to need water in a spray bottle, water in a jar, and some various size watercolor brushes. I have the TomBow brush markers in bright and muted. That's what I'll be pulling from today. Now I'm going to make my flower a combination of kind of a peachy pink. So I'm going to use some of my muted and my brights. And the first thing I'm going to do is, you probably can't see this, but I'm just putting some ink here on my plastic sheet. Some orange, some pink. And add some yellow. This is kind of a darker, more muted yellow. Some dark pink. And this is actually kind of a reddish brown. Just a tiny bit in there. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can use the blender marker here and spray your ink so it's watered down. I'm just going to test it here on the side. I like that color. And I go from the inside out. So as my color diminishes, it gives kind of an ombre effect towards the exterior of the flower, the outside of the petal. The nice thing about spraying your ink with water is you will not get all those tiny brush strokes like you would if you were just using markers. It's much more subtle transitions. Okay, if I want to add a bit more color in here to kind of bring out definition in the flower, I can add a bit more of another color, this slightly brighter pink color. Kind of mix them together on my sheet here. And then just gently add in a bit more color, maybe following my lines from my micron marker. Once I've done that, I can get a bit more of that same color and just go gently towards the inside of the flower, because this would be slightly more shaded anyway. Just make it a bit darker pink. You can get some of this spare water here if you want to spread that color out a little bit better. Just this extra clear water. other things you can do to add in the yellow of the flower. And because this is a bit dark, I'm going to add some bright yellow to it. In fact, I'm going to use my bright yellow instead of the blender, and I'm going to just mix them together a bit here. Get a bit of that water on there. Beautiful. Now a couple other ways you can do this. You can actually start by spraying a section of your paper. Using an actual watercolor paintbrush loaded with water from your water jar. Get some of this ink here. And then you can work in your flower. And you see how it just starts spreading automatically. And say you wanted to add some definition to this, you could actually take the marker and draw in some sections with a bit more color, and then go back with your watercolor brush and just spread it out. Now if you were to draw directly onto your watercolor paper, and then take your watercolor brush loaded with water and spread it out, you can do that. But see how you actually get the line where you had originally made the brush stroke with the marker? So adding water to your surface before you start creating will help to make it much more subtle. Okay guys, that's our tutorial for today. I hope you enjoyed it and you learned something new. If you have any questions, please post it in the comments. Also be sure to subscribe so you catch all of my latest tutorials.